How's it going, everybody? This is going to be a video on Bitcoin and where I think it is heading in the near future, and well, for the rest of the year in particular. This is a giant opportunity for altcoins, actually, but that will be in my next few videos I release. I will go over a few altcoins. For Bitcoin here, I want to briefly touch on the structure that still has remained the same for many months now, and that is a double 1-2 on the macro. All this right here is fairly clear to me. I won't bore you with going into detail with that, but rather we can go on to the 4-hour and zoom in here where we broke out to our most recent highs. Now let's work a little backwards here just to go over what I'm looking for. We have a nice 5-wave impulse here into a 1 in yellow, pull back into the 2, come up into our 3, mind you touching the 1.618 to 1.75 extension perfectly, into our 4 in yellow, and pulling up to our 5th. And it is a little messy up here, but this wave 5 in yellow also taps our 2.618 extension for our wave 3 in orange. So that's how you can kind of tell this is where the 5-wave move completes, and a perfect area for your 3 in orange preceding it to land. Remember, we're always looking for 5-wave internal structure of any impulse, when an impulse is either your first wave, your third, or your 5th. From there, we have our 3rd complete in orange. And let's go zoom in here real quick. See what I have complete for our 4 in orange. After coming up and topping at $108,000, we came down in a double zigzag, an ABC into our W, an A expanded flat pattern into our B, and a 5-wave impulse into our C to create an RX, creating a larger WX Y, and inside our Y is another ABC structure, labeled as a double zigzag WXY. And that completes our wave 4 due to what followed after it. And also the time of this correction is proper for what you would expect due to the size of this wave 2. You always expect wave 4s to generally be longer than your wave 2s, but if not, you want alternation. So that means we are looking for a wave 5 in orange. Now clearly, you can see this is a very impulsive structure, and after ending a consolidation of downways or down and sideways movement, you can definitely call this an impulse. Now, whether this impulse is R5 or the 1 of R5 is yet to be determined. I am in the camp that it is the 1 of R5, and I'll show you briefly why that is. Just based off wave structure, if we're looking for this 5-wave impulse to be complete, and we pull that off to the side, it looks great. The 1 to the 2 to the 3 to the 4, but the 5th wave, it barely nicks over the 3rd and looks well, relatively short. It's not really ideal what you want to see for a fifth wave in an impulse. So instead, let's just say we're looking for this fifth to end somewhere up here around 120K. And we pull that off to the side, you have a much better looking impulsive structure here. Now this is what I am looking for, so I'll drop down onto the 4-hour again to show you how we get there. After our impulse up here in what we will call a 1, we retraced back down to right around the 786 area to put in our wave 2, and that happened in some type of WXY combination. Now this can also be counted as an ABC or a WXY. I don't think it's really too relative to count in too much detail at the moment, as it is a 3-wave structure. Now you would like to see continuation up if that was the bottom of your 2, and we did have an impulse out of that bottom. Similarly, just to how we had an impulse after this correction. Let's drop down. Oh, we can stay on the 4-hour. So after our wave 1, we're looking for another 2. Well, what did we get? It looks like we got a WXYXZ or a WXY, depending how you want to count it. It's comprised of a series of 3-wave moves. Now, if this is the low of our wave 2, mind you, also wicking through with a strong buyer reaction through the 6-6 golden pocket area, which is a common zone for your wave 2 as well, including taking out the liquidity we had on heat maps and the obvious liquidity of all these stops being engineered here at this level, is primed for a move up. Now, if we were to come up here, we would be looking for a wave 3 with our common extension targets at around 112 to 114K. From there, we would like to see a wave 4 and a 5 to complete our 3rd wave. Generally, we'd be looking for something that might look like a contracting diagonal, or we can get a very explosive 3. We have yet to see. But if something like this does play out, it could be a ending contracting diagonal as our wave 5. And that would complete our wave 5 in orange to give us that nice completed structure as I was referring to here, which would encapsulate the 5 waves needed for our wave 3 in pink, which preceding this 1-2 in orange, we have one more 1-2 to initiate the move. That would bring us up to our 3rd wave in pink, from which again we would see the same type of movement we have been seeing already. Another sideways correction, probably longer in time, maybe shorter, but most likely longer, before we pop up in another 5 to complete our 3 in yellow. And if you notice up here, 1.618 to the 2 level extension is actually the extension targets I have from our big wave 1-2 following us. And I think you get the picture now. We're just going to complete all the patterns previously. We are going to keep tracking them, and you would expect them to enter into their most common target areas at minimum, which for that is around 130K. And that is what I have on Bitcoin for the most immediate term future. And of course, to finish it out, we can drag out the next 4 or 5 and the next 4 or 5 all the way out until the market is supposed to end somewhere in October, November-ish of 2025, maybe a bit longer if the cycle extends. But for this to hold true, locally, we need continuation off this low that we just put in. And we need to see prices come up above 106 to 109,000 again and continue to take out and make new all-time highs. All right, thank you guys for tuning in to Bitcoin.